Hello everyone, this is Helen H. and welcome to my channel, Moss Cottage. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day today. I found the cutest craft on Pinterest. Now, mind you, I have enough pins on my Pinterest boards that I could not live 1 million lifetimes and use them all. But of course I came across a new one, and this is by Cool and Quirk, and I'll put a link to the page here the Pinterest link, but it's just a picture, and I've been trying to find more about Cool and Quirk and I cannot find it, so this might be an older pin. But anyway, I wanted to give them credit for this because it was totally their idea, not mine. Super cute. So what are we going to make today? Look at these little paper faces. Look at these. Oh my goodness. And this was super fun to do. Super easy, super fun. Just adorable. Can you imagine these little embellies in your books? Oh my gosh. I'm not going to be able to stop making these. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to make one. So I started the process a little bit because there is some drying time. So I've got something started. So I just have a book page, and this book page is Reader's Digest, old Reader's Digest book page. You use whatever book page you want. But I did want to show you, let's see here, that you do want to look for parts where you don't have the face where there's like big white gaps like that, because that's distracting to the face itself, right? So you want to look where you've got a lot of writing like grouped together. So what I did was I just used my super cheap acrylic paints, and I used orange, yellow, red, brown, white. I think those 5 colors, and I just mixed all different kinds. You see how the skin tone on all these little pretties are different? Each one was a different combination of paints. So I just dibbed and dabbed and made like color, and then I just literally made a big blob on the paper, on the book page. And I did it like a circle, but it doesn't matter because when you tear it out, that's going to be determine what your shape is going to be. But you don't want to make it too small, otherwise you're going to have a teeny tiny little face, you know, because you're going to tear around a lot of this. So what I did was I just went ahead, and this is already dry, so this is what I wanted to do already to get this dry. So then you can take a black marker, and all of these I did with a 0.08. This is a Micron archival ink marker. So all you're going to do is you're going to draw a face. So I start with the mouth. And the mouth is just as simple as like a heart, or a heart with a flat bottom, what you decide, with a line through it. And I kind of just like to bring up one side to make it look like, let me bring you in a little bit while I'm sorry, I just accidentally turned off the video. So I'm trying to bring you in here a little bit closer, and I hit the button. Okay, so it's just like a little heart with a line through it. And then we're going to make a nose, and the nose that I choose is just like a little swirl with a swoop, and then another swirl like that. Okay, and that nose style I got from Cool and Quirk. She has different styles of noses on hers, so you can look at hers. And then you want to draw the eyes. Now, what makes it super cute, okay, is when the eyes are very far apart and very low down. You know, if you do like proper face drawing, you know, you have to divide it and whatever. Well, this is like breaking all the rules. So to make it super cute, I make the eyes low down and wide apart. So I'm just going to do like this and like this, okay? And they might not even be the same size, okay? We're not going for perfection here. We're just going for super cute. So then I'm just going to go ahead and draw in the features. So here I'm drawing in the eye part, like this. And then I'm going to draw an eyelid, like this, which is just like a little arch over the eye, like that, okay? And then I'm going to draw in the pupil. So I'm making my pupils kind of big, okay, like that, okay? And then I'm just gonna do eyebrows. So eyebrow, eyebrow. And again, they don't have to match because we're not going for perfection here, okay? So that's the basic face right there. Now, I am going to put my marker away, and I'm going to go ahead and I already did another one, okay, this one right here. And you can see the skin tone's not the same, and I'm going to put this one aside. Reason being, the microns are archival, which means they are permanent. However, I've noticed with the pupils, it takes a while for them to dry. So I didn't want to take that time. I did actually smear some of mine doing that, going right in. So this one I did yesterday, and so it's already dry. So to color them up, you can use whatever you have. You can use markers, crayons, whatever. I am using my, these are just Caran d'Ache watercolor crayons. And then you can use acrylic paint markers. These ones are from Walmart. I'm using this Crafter Square white paint pen. I have my Posca white paint pen. And I have my Jelly Roll white pen. Oh, and I also have my Stabilo Alls. But you use whatever you have, whatever supplies you like to do to color them in. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and color the eyes. The eyes around the pupil, okay? Now, it is totally up to you if you use crayons, watercolor crayons, what you're going to do, okay? Now, see how blue that is? I really like that. If I go in with the water, that is going to water that down, and they're not going to be so shocking blue like that. I think on this one, I'm actually going to leave it. This one here, I did water them down, you see? I don't know if the brightness will show up. It's a slightly different look, and this has a different texture too. So if you go in with water, well, let's just go ahead and do it. I have a small brush and it's wet, so I'm just going to dry it as much as I can, and then you can kind of reactivate that crayon, the watercolor crayon. Now, of course, if you're using markers, acrylic markers or pens, you're not going to be able to reactivate it, right? Because they're permanent. Now, let's go ahead and give this little lady some purple eyeshadow, because why not, right? So I'm just going to draw a little bit. I don't want the eyeshadow to be super dark, so I'm just going to draw a little bit of the crayon, watercolor crayon, and then I'm just going to go ahead and kind of give her a little bit of shadow like that. Okay. Not dark at all. And if ever you get too much, it gets too wet or something, there's two things you can do. You can either take like a tissue and just dab it on, or what I would do is just do that. Put it on another piece of paper, but that actually smudged. Okay, so let me tell you a little secret here too. And if you use watercolor, you know this, okay? Oops, she got some paint from the other side. Okay, see how I just smudged the blue outside her eye there? Just take your very dry, wet brush and go over it, and it kind of erases that. So anytime you go over the line with a color that you don't want it there, you can just kind of go over it and remove it, okay? Now, doing what I did, I kind of got her eye a little bit less blue, so I'm going to just go in, and you can go in as many times you want. You can use as many colors as you want. I'm just going to go lightly with the purple because I did actually take off a little bit too much. Probably the best way to do it is to just dab it with a tissue. I just don't happen to have one here. And I would use a tissue, not a wet wipe, because a wet wipe might activate colors you don't want activated, okay? So there's her little eyes there, okay? So let's go ahead and move on to her lips. Now, if you're using watercolor crayons, if they come in a tin, I use that as a palette. But, you know, I always have my trusty coffee tin or, you know, whatever palettes also. So with her mouth, I am going to go ahead with a crayon. Let me use this color here because I don't think I've used this one before. Let me use this red crayon, and I'm just going to put some color in there, and then I'm going to get my paintbrush. Oops, I'm off. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep this here. I just drew some color in there, and then I'm just going to go ahead and very lightly with this very dry brush go in there like that, okay? So that's that, okay? Now, the last thing we need to do, and let me see if I have one to do here. No, I don't. Okay, so the last thing we need to do before we tear her out is we need to give her eyes the whites, okay? We need to give the whites of the eyes. This is purely up to you what you want to use. I'm using this Crafter Square. It says metallic marker, but this is just white. I did one with my Posca, and you can use your Posca also. I have a love-hate relationship with Posca pens because if you press just a tiny bit too hard, they vomit paint all over you, your artwork. Now, if I'm doing mixed media and I'm doing a background and I don't care, that's fine. But if I'm detailing into somebody's eye like this, because I've got to get right up against those pupils or the eyes, right? I don't want a big blob of permanent acrylic paint coming out. So I'm using this Dollar Tree marker, and I'm just going to go ahead and color it in. Now, I haven't tried using my jelly roll for the whole thing. I'm sure you could do that, but this is just a little bit easier because these markers have a bigger nib. If you do the jelly roll, you know, it's going to take you a little longer. So I'm just coming in here and just coloring in around the white of her eye. Okay, like this. And if you feel, because we've got that color underneath, and see with Cool and Cork, there was no instruction. It's just a picture. So I just kind of figured it out on my own how to do it. But if you feel like you can see too much of the writing in the white, just let it dry and then do another coat of white. I think some of mine I did that and some I did not. I think this one here, she might have two coats of white. But yeah, so that's up to you if you want to add 2 coats of white or just one. For time's sake, I'm just going to do the one. I forgot one important thing though. I didn't give my honey some red cheeks, so I'm just going to go ahead, wet my brush, and I've got my palette here with some pinky red. Well, all I do is this. I just scribble on it a couple colors and then use my wet brush and just come in and give her a little cheek. Give her some little cheeks. Make her super cute like that. Okay? So she's done. Okay, this one is done. But I'm not going to tear her out now because she is dry. Oh, wait, she's actually not done. I'm sorry. One thing I forgot. To make them realistic looking, and you know this if you've ever drawn face, to put a little dot of white in the eye to make it look like it's reflecting light, okay? And so I'm just going to put a little dot here and a little dot here. I put them on the same side of the eye because the light would be coming from one direction. Now, what I did with most of these on this dot, because I am doing the white dot on the black pupil, I did let it dry and then dotted it again. And then when that dried, then I went in with my jelly roll and dotted it one more time to make sure that that white is really vivid white. You see the little reflections in her eyes? So we want to make sure we do that. So she's just going to dry. Then I put my pen with her so I know why she's there. She still needs some more white on her eyes. So I'm just going to leave her there. But I did finish one already last night here. Oh, I'm sorry. There's 2 things I forgot. Oh my goodness. I'm looking at mine. Okay. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to tell this. But on the top of each of these, and if you look at Cool and Quirk, you'll see hers too, or his. I don't know if it's a woman or a man. You see it's a little bit darker on the top. That's just kind of like a hint that there might be some hair there. So you can just take your whatever, your marker, your crayons, your whatever you're using. I'm just using the watercolor crayon again. And I'm just very loosely doing this, okay? If you want super nice hair, you make super nice hair. But I like just putting a little bit of darkness up here to hint that there might be some hair up there that's a little bit darker than her skin tone, okay? All right, like that, okay? So now she's ready to dry. I think I could probably go ahead and put my second daub of white, yep, second daub of white there on her eye and let her dry now. And I'm just gonna put my jelly roll there now because that's the last thing for her. I promise there's no more than that. Here's the one I did yesterday, okay? And she is finished. And this is what reminded me. See, I gave her purple hair. Why? I don't know. So this is a finished one. She's completely dry. Her eyes are done. The little spot of light is there. Everything about her is done except she's not torn out. So basically all I did is just kind of tear a shape. And I'm tearing with my left hand going back, my right hand going forward, and that might affect the way it looks. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm just tearing, and you can tear whatever shape you want. I mean, mine are all different because I kept tearing and I didn't know what I'd end up with. Okay, so this is what I end up with for this little girl here. Okay, she does have a tiny little white spot here. I'm not sure why. Let me see if I can tear that off. Yep, just tear it off. If not, I was going to say you could always ink around the edges. And I was actually thinking of doing that. Let's just do that real quick. Let's take this one we're working on here. And I've got just my little inker thing. I'm going to ink around the edges because I want to show you how fun these little things could be. And the reason I'm inking around her edge here is because I want to make a defined edge around her. Like really make the edges a little bit defined. Even though it's a really wonky shape, you might have to, get your little inker in the grooves and everything where you've torn. But if you do that, and then, close that. Let me grab a piece of paper here. Hold on. I want to just grab something. This one here. Okay, I'm just going to grab this piece of brown paper for no reason whatsoever. But then if I glued her on here, okay, like this, it looks like she's peeking out, like this is torn and she's peeking out from behind it. Do you know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and glue her down and I'll show you. Let's see. All right, let's just use a glue stick because this is just book page, so it's super light. Even with the paints on it, it's still nice and light, so we can get away with using a glue stick. Okay. So if I glue her on flat, like this, it kind of looks like this is ripped and she's peeking out. Right? Like this paper has been ripped and she's a round head peeking out of ripped paper. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys these little faces here. I am absolutely in love with these and I will be making 1,000 of them. So thank you, Cool and Quark. I'm just going to take my white jelly roll and now just go one more time in that white of the eye. It's actually not dry, so the jelly roll is pulling it up. So, they do take a little bit of time if you're using wet media. If you're just going to use magic markers, I think that probably you could get away with moving from step to step a lot quicker. However, you're going to have to do the paint, the paint on the page itself. Let that dry thoroughly, then get your markers in. You don't want to rush things because what happens is you start to goop up your pen tips and, everything gets all ruined. So anyway, I just wanted to show you these cuties and I hope you make some. I hope you are inspired to make some. How fun are these, right? These are so super cute and super fun to make. I mean, I was just smiling when I was making them. Each one, even though I kind of followed the same steps, each one has their own little personality. So I hope you liked this video, guys. Please give me a thumbs up if you did. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I ask that you do. And until the next video, we all hope that you are truly blessed. Bye-bye.